There was once a place called Camelot. In this place, all things were possible. There were jobs and cars, washing machines, and TV sets that could receive 3 channels on a clear day. Walt Disney still had Annette under contract, and she was perfect. And there was this man in the White House. It took all 4 Beatles to replace John F. Kennedy. His wife looked like a movie star, and his kids did too. As a 10-year-old, I could mimic his Boston accent, and my father's friends would laugh their heads off at parties. I, John F. Kennedy. He would begin with that line and go on to put the wood to that fat guy in Russia or that Mexican that was running Cuba or anybody else that thought they could stand up to America. I had no idea where Boston was. I didn't know what a Democrat was. Didn't even know what a communist was, but I knew John F. Kennedy was my president. When we ate supper, I would imagine him dropping by. I could just see it, because that was the kind of a guy he was. In my young mind, it was a grand illusion. America was slipping into decline, but we were so poor we couldn't tell. Dimes actually looked bigger if you grew up in Texas. The lights never went off in our house, but the bill was only like $8. I think water might have been free, I don't know. But I knew who the president was, and I knew that when I grew up, everything was going to be all right. There is a saying among people of my generation that we all remember exactly where we were when we heard about the tragic events in Dallas. I'd been at a nurse's station at Nolan Junior High that day, and she was sending me back to class. As I rounded the corner by the cafeteria, heading down the west hallway, about 3 classrooms down, the intercom came on, and America died that day. The grand illusion evaporated like a handkerchief in a Penn and Teller magic show. They turned us all out, and we all went home. When I got home, my parents were acting like Hank Williams just died. I sat at the dinner table that night, and I cried. I still remember we had liver and onions. Then came Johnson and Vietnam, and Nixon, Charles Manson, the Twin Towers, Waco. We all struggled to endure the smell of the rotting corpse that America had become. The country didn't just suddenly run off the rails. The train had been swerving for a long time, but somehow President Kennedy had us believe that as long as his hand was on the wheel, it was going to be okay. Last night I was up late researching the tragic events from Waco last year. I ended up looking at a picture of a dead biker resting there beside his Harley. He looked so serene lying there in his Sunday jeans and his magnificent colors still on. And for some reason, President Kennedy came to my mind, and again, I cried. I cried for the biker, I cried for President Kennedy, and I cried for America. America is lost, but we in the Texas movement are going to find it again, and we're going to give it back to you. We owe President Kennedy that much. There are historians and political analysts who point out his flaws, and I know all about Marilyn Monroe and Joe Kennedy being a bootlegger. I don't care. I still can't erase the image of that hallway in Nolan Junior High that was burned into my brain on November 22nd, 1963. As I approached that junction in the hallway that day, I was walking in John F. Kennedy's America. And by the time the speaker went silent, I was standing in Texas. There was once a place called Camelot.